There's a full moon coming up in Scorpio at 22 degrees on the 12th of May, 2025. And yes, the moon is in fall in Scorpio.
I'm the bad guy. Duh.
And it's a little more challenged there because of this dignity scheme. But the truth is, there's probably not a more powerful,
You know that I want you.
sexy
And you know that I need you.
sign than Scorpio. It's the bad boy, the bad girl energy, but it's not in the bad way. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. The thing that we're attracted to with the scorpionic energy, and we all have Scorpio in us somewhere, is that ability to face the truth, the darkness with courage, with the Mars empowerment of a warrior, an emotional warrior. Okay, so Scorpio is ruled by Mars. It's the fixed water sign. Mars is feminine domicile. And that's a place where you need to have courage to go into it. So the moon going there, if you think about where's the moon in its domicile, where's the moon exalted? Moon is in domicile in Cancer, very sweet and loving, nurturing, maternal. It's in its exaltation in Taurus, where everything is blooming and growing and stable and giving life. And Scorpio is the other side of that coin. It's a little more of the opposite end, where it's the darker side of life that we need to all face, and there may be some secrets that come to light. So a full moon is an illumination point. There's something that's coming back up from November 1st to be exact. That's when the new moon was in Scorpio. So there's something about that period of time. If you put some intentions in or something started for you beginning of November, that is what's going to be bringing something to the surface. Now, what you want to do is know which whole sign house you have Scorpio in. There's a thing on my website, that elnatali.com. It's from Dimitri George, and it tells you all the significations. This microphone, every time I touch this, I'm afraid it's going to turn off. There's significations basically of all the house topics, and it's really concise. So you can kind of look and see where is some part of you that's scorpionic. What part of your life requires that depth and a little more privacy? It needs that space to be introspective. Any water sign is going to be more of the emotional alignment with our humanity. So Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Scorpio is fixed water, so it's the stillness. So I'm going to read you a story from this book. It's Liz Green's Astrology for Lovers. It's probably the most annoying name of a book I've ever, I don't know why it annoys me, but Astrology for Lovers is the name of it. It's just a really good book with a lame title. I don't know. Sorry if you like it, but I don't know. Something about it bugs me. Anyway, so it talks about all these different elemental stories and the mythology of these signs. If you remember back in the 90s, there was a movie called Hercules from Disney. And yeah, I'll admit that's how I know a lot about the mythology of Hercules. Some good American education, huh? So there was this part in Hercules, if you recall, or if you know the actual story, good on you, where he has to do the 12 labors. And part of them, one of the big moments in the movie, is when he has to fight the Hydra. And so here's the actual story of this. Hercules is sent to destroy a large, deadly creature called a Hydra, which inhabits a dark cave in a swamp and preys upon the folk of the countryside. The Hydra is a serpent-like beast with 9 snake heads, each of which is equipped with deadly poison fangs, a sort of multiple cobra, you might say. And it has a very nasty propensity. Cut off one of its heads, and it sprouts 3 new ones in return. Hercules at first attempts to club the Hydra to death, then slice its heads off. Remember that in the movie? It just kept growing heads. He's about finished because it's too hard since it results in the proliferation of heads, too many heads, too much. Yeah. Then he remembers a piece of advice given to him by a wise teacher. The Hydra cannot stand the light. So Hercules gets down on his knees and lifts the creature up into the sunlight. It shrivels up and begins to die. Only one head remains, for that one is immortal. And buried within it is a precious jewel. But one head is easy for Hercules to handle. He simply buries it underneath of a rock. We can say that the Hydra can mean many things: jealousy, vengeance, resentment, anger, frustrated sexuality, violence. Scorpio is a sign of intense desire, and the Hydra's many heads can mean the many desires of the uncivilized human heart. Left to grow in the darkness, they can become poisonous. and begin to destroy others. But they cannot be dealt with by repression. They must be understood, held up to the light, respected as part of oneself. And although vanquished, it's a good idea to remember that one immortal head. For Scorpio, all human beings carry within them the seeds of good and evil. Evil is not an abstract thing or someone else's fault. It's in everyone. Human brutality cannot be blamed on society, but ultimately only on oneself. It's relevant to realize that Freud, the great founder of modern depth psychology, had Scorpio rising. I don't know if we want to talk about him too much. He's kind of, oh well, anyway. Therein lies the deepest meaning of Scorpio's myth. Come to terms with the Hydra in yourself and you redeem the world. So I felt like that was really, really powerful, thinking about the darkness and all those things that Scorpio can represent, which is when things get out of hand, when the shadow goes too far in that scorpionic side. And so we have to face that. And how do we do it? We have to bring it to the light. Just trying to cut off its heads is the same as pretending it doesn't exist. That's lying to yourself. Scorpio energy has that BS monitor. There's no lying. The more the Hydra's heads were cut off, the more it came back. And that would be relevant to not really accepting something that needs to be seen. So a full moon is illuminating a part of our chart, wherever you have Scorpio. And that is where maybe some sort of revelation is coming, or where you maybe want to be more private or pushing something away, depending on your chart. And it needs to come up. You know, the other thing that's beautiful about that story is that the one single head was immortal and it had a jewel in it. There is something beautiful in those dark things that we have. All of us do. All of us have it inside of us, and accepting it and seeing it as a jewel, that brings away all the power to the thing. You know, it's saying, oh yeah, I got that. I have that thing inside of me, or I have that part of me that I don't like, or yeah, I have an issue with this or that. And accepting it and being authentic about it gives you more ability to bring your light to the surface instead of the darkness being on the surface. So with this full moon in particular, there's a couple things going on. Pluto and Mercury are building a square. It's like a fixed square between those two. Taurus is where Mercury is. That's the take it easy energy. And Mercury just wants the mind to slow down a little bit, simplify. And Pluto is just so powerful. Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio as well. So if you get that energy, it's like that power, the desire, the drive for metamorphosis and change and transformation. So Pluto's just down there plugging away, going retrograde. And this is part of that fight that's coming into these fixed signs. We have Mars up in Leo. It's the ruler of this full moon, and it's also in a square. It's in a square. So there's some sort of friction going on. You might already be feeling it. The main day, of course, it will be the 12th, but this whole weekend coming into it, and maybe a day afterwards, the moon is going to be void of course, which means it's not going to make any other aspects to any planets. So it kind of like, it's very scorpionic in this way too. It needs its space, you know, give it a little bit of space. Don't do anything where you start some brand new project, or if you can on Monday, you know, wait, just give it some respect, give yourself some respect, that part of you that needs a little bit of more of an introspective look, or a little more patience, or a little bit of diving into the depths if you need to. The individuation path that we all are on is, the truth is, we're trying to figure out how to integrate all the parts of us. And that's what's so powerful about knowing your natal chart, getting an astrological reading. I've done so many readings, and really recently a lot, because of the eclipse portal and meeting so many amazing people and looking into their lives. And man, they're I can see why spirit or the universe or God or whatever makes us all different, because that's what makes us so beautiful. It's so interesting to see what people love and what people don't like, and what they are meant to explore, and their desires and their relationships and the things that they're here to bring into the world, each unique beautiful jewel, just like the Hydra has inside of itself. It's one of those things. It's the truth, and that's what Scorpio is interested in. The truth is that there's beautiful diversity inside of us. And each part needs to be accepted and integrated and welcomed. I think that's the trick of it, really. Like at the end of the video, I always say, I like you just the way you are. And, the reason is because you are made intentionally, and you should be like just the way you are. You don't need to change. You're perfect just the way you are. You're designed. And it doesn't mean that we're finished. It doesn't mean that we're a cake that's baked. We're a bunch of ingredients that needs to be mixed in a way that it's going to make some sort of recipe. And if you leave out a part, like if you're baking a cake, if you leave out the butter or the flour or the sugar or even the salt, it's not going to be a very good cake. So that's kind of the analogy I have there for us. It's like we need to integrate all parts in order to reach our fullest potential. I hope you have a wonderful, incredible, stunning full moon in Scorpio. One of the other things that's cool I didn't mention is actually a mini moon. A lot of times we talk about as astrologers, it's a super moon, but this one is an apogee, a reverse apogee, whatever it is. I can't think of what it's called, but it's where it's further away. So it's actually a smaller looking full moon than normal, 7% smaller, if I remember correctly. Anyway, I like you just the way you are, and I will talk to you soon. All I can hear when I hear that is Weird Al Yankovic's "Fat." I mean, good job, Michael Jackson. You're awesome, bro. But I think it's Weird Al's song. Sorry.